No, I don't want to go to war already. Sorry, Spain. But, the second one, which is supremacy, is unlike purity. Supremacy is like, we come to this new earth and it's like, we realize we made a lot of mistakes before, we need to be a bit better than what the old humans were, and the way we're going to do that is through the use of cybernetics. So basically, they're going to start augmenting themselves with robotic implants and like structurally changing themselves to become more like cyborgs. So that's their idea, and they have some pretty interesting news that they've released on them. Like, apparently, their soldiers will gain bonuses from being in like next to each other. So like they get sort of like I guess bonuses for like units that are in adjacent tiles. So it's sort of more of a cohesive unit, works better against other things rather than an individual strong unit, say. So that's a very interesting concept, I think, and I'd be interested to see how people utilize that. The third one, which is probably my favorite, at least from what I've seen, is harmony. So this is the idea that humans are going to this new world and they're like, hey, we made all these mistakes before, and we're on this new world, so let's adapt to this new world. We're not Earthlings anymore, we are citizens of this new planet. So what they start to do is, they're very friendly towards the indigenous population of aliens, and they also, so they start to begin to splice alien DNA into their own, and they, instead of trying to change the world to make it more like Earth, they sort of leave the world as it is, and that has some interesting implications. Their units become much more organic looking versus the other two, where Purity is very bulky and Supremacy is very high-tech looking, but Harmonies are very organic looking, and it's pretty cool. I think you can, as far as I'm aware, you can like sort of get some of the aliens on your side and use them to your advantage. So I think that's really appeals to me. I think that's a really cool concept, and I'd like to see it implemented. So I'm pretty excited for that one. But yeah, so those are the basic affinity types, and I'm sure that those affinities, and I'm pretty sure they've said this explicitly, although I can't remember exactly when, that those affinities will play into the different type of victories. So you will definitely need to align to one of those affinities to be able to do some of the different victories, and I'll probably try every affinity out at least once, just because I'm very curious to see all the different endings, because from what I understand, they put quite a lot of work into these endings, so I imagine there's some really cool ones, and so I'd be interested to see how that works. I don't quite remember all of what they are, but I think it's something obviously that we'll be showing in a video, so I think we'll leave it for a bit of a surprise. If you're interested in finding out, you can go onto the Civilization website and read through the news. They have a bunch of like quote-unquote interviews with the different faction leaders, which is really interesting. I think that was a very interesting way to present that sort of information. But because of that, you sort of feel like you get to know them, and maybe you can figure out which leader you're like. I know a lot of people have been complaining because they've heard that there's only 8 factions, and it's like, while that sort of like bums me out, I also understand it in terms of a scientific aspect or like a futuristic aspect, and I think that ultimately would be a good decision. Can't say for sure, but I think we'll see it. And from what I understand, the faction leaders, based on which affinities they go with, will also tend to change, so you won't be always dealing with the same 8 personalities in a game. They will definitely change depending on what affinities they adopt. And they might even go as far as to look different throughout the game, from what I understand. So that'll definitely be super interesting to see how that works out. Because like I can only imagine like It's the leaders becoming more alien or more like tough purity, like Roman legion type things, or like super robotic implants on the side of their head or whatever. And so that really appeals to me. But to get back to this game for a bit, looks like we're almost on the Great Library. Hopefully we'll finish in time. I'm really hoping that we're not going to get one turn away only to have it die on us. Or, well, not die on us, but get stolen from under our feet. Which is really a weird concept if you think about it. I mean, you just basically have this... you've nearly built this entire building, and then someone else is building the world, and suddenly, oh, we have to tear the whole thing down, and, well, we'll give you some gold for it, but that's it. And it's like, sort of like, well, that stinks, but, nothing you can do about it, and it makes sense. Like, obviously, historically, there's only one of these things, so it wouldn't make sense if everyone could build them, and it would sort of defeat the point of that sort of production competition for a lot of that stuff. I think I'm going to go instant heal here just because I want to be able to clear out this barbarian encampment, get the gold, and keep pushing on. Obviously, I understand the basic concept of that because I've had a geography class and I understand what the Earth looks like, but just to like sort of scout things out. I mean, plus we got the gold from that, and we can maybe get some more XP this time and actually get a good upgrade for these guys. I'm not sure I'll accept an embassy portrait. That helps a lot. Sort of see what other luxuries other players have. Maybe look for potential trading partners. Ah, Portugal, you're such a jerk. And I had like one turn left too. Oh well. I'm gonna build a cargo ship, get some of my trade routes up. I have 4 available because, as obviously, if you're not aware, Venice gets their benefit is that they get double trade routes, which is very helpful for growing your economy and going for a diplomatic victory, which is why I chose them. But also I chose them because I wanted to choose a European nation, so I'd be more central to the action going on, basically. Because, I mean, while choosing a Native American gives you a lot more chance to expand, it also is sort of lonely for most of the game. Oh, and Rome 2 in a war army. Lovely. This won't end in tears, I'm sure. Let's get these guys back here. And, we have 418 gold. I think let's take out the warriors first. It's gonna be purchase. Archer, 2 range, 7 strength, 7 range strength, 10 range strength. Maybe I'll go for a chariot archer. Just because I don't want to die, and that would be pretty embarrassing this early in the game. Luckily so maybe it's for the best that we did get that gold, because I wouldn't want to die right away. If we do this, it'll be a pretty short video series though. I would imagine. Let's attack these guys. Bombard those guys. I think we'll be okay. It's pretty hard to capture a city with just warriors and archers, but better safe than sorry. So yeah, obviously Rome is going to continue to be an issue for this game, and we might need to be a bit more directly upfront with him and sort of kick his butt to show him that we're not going to really stand for his aggressiveness. Hopefully, though, in doing this, we will gain important what's the word I'm looking for? Or when we get him to surrender, we'll be able to gain important trade agreements with him. Because obviously, or hopefully, hopefully I'll be able to repel his attack successfully, which will allow for a much better chance at sort of just cleaning them. Yeah, which will, the more effectively I destroy him, the more likely he is to give me something good when we negotiate peace. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, so at least making the beginning of this game a bit more interesting. Ron's working coming up 5 turns. Hopefully we'll have some iron in the region. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's not great, but... Again, I want to sort of focus down warrior. Well, but I could also take this chance to destroy them, which I think is probably more important at this stage of the game. Because one warrior is not going to destroy Venice. Plus, it might prevent that warrior from plundering that land, because as he might otherwise do if he was injured at the end of the turn but not dead. So that's my reasoning behind my decision, and I'm sticking to it. Of course, now it's impossible for my warrior to get back to Venice, but well, might be able to work. So I think I'm just going to move him to the coast and then set him to heal. Hopefully he won't plunder that farm. He probably will, just to, you know, be a nuisance. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not going to get a religion. Last time we played this map I didn't either, but eventually religions will spread across the world and I'll adopt one that way. Hopefully the AI is smart enough to pick some decent bonuses that pair well together. This isn't fun. Right side, character archers get what is this? Grassland. Against grassland, hill, plains. I think I'm gonna do open terrain. Because there's no hills here. He did plunder that land though, which I can't say I'm honestly that surprised, but it's still annoying. I think we'll build a another chariot archer, I guess, because we don't have spearmen. We're 2 turns away from bronze working, so I think I'll build a library. I think I feel comfortable that I can withstand a few turns of this. He doesn't have a trireme mount, I have a feeling, so I think I'll be safe trade route wise, but library gets some science up, so I'm keeping pace and not falling too hard behind because of this war. Obviously my growth is going to be hurt a little bit because our farm has pillaged, but at least we have another one up here and some horses. Yeah, we can pretty much do this all day. They run in, take damage, we kill them. Honestly, this isn't probably that smart of Rome, because at this point he should know that he can't take this, and by doing this he's just gonna basically be wasting his production to build units to pointlessly go to war with me and do very little damage to me. Plus, by attacking me, he's losing a pretty important trade partner. Unfortunately, he's going for my horses there, which is smart of him, but maybe we can scare him off. Otherwise, we might be in a bit of a pickle. I'll go for optics. Anyway, I can get embarkation up. And maybe I'll get to look great in all these subs too, that'd be nice. Later, I think my military solution to killing Rome will just be to build a bunch of Great Galleasses, which is the special unit of Venice, which are a bit tougher than regular galleasses, and just basically bombard the crap out of Rome, because I think that seems like a reasonable way to do this. Oh, good, he didn't go for my horses. I would have been sort of annoyed if he did. But it would have been really smart if he did too, because it would have weakened my chariot archers. Because, I don't know, if you don't know this, I'm sure if you're watching this you probably do, but I don't want to assume. So if you don't know, if you lose the strategic resources of units you already have built, then you get those units get a penalty for not having that resource, and it makes them very much weaker, considerably so. So that's why you always, if you do have the chance, like in an enemy's territory, to, I don't know, maybe like bombard their, like plunder their iron, for example, if they have a bunch of swordsmen, that would be a really good idea, because it would weaken their army and make it easier to either destroy if you're invading or defend from if you're just trying to attack and do a little pinprick in their base to help you out. I think that's definitely a recommended strategy. They do have spearmen now. I could also build a spearman at this point, but I don't feel too threatened. I seem to have taken out most of their archers, if not all of them. I can't tell exactly, but other than that, I only have to deal with the spearmen, and at this point, Venice is fine. May not even build another. I might not even build another chariot archer, but rather just go for I might even go for another cargo ship right now, so I can get my monies up. That way, if I do need to go to war, I can just purchase things. Yeah, once I finish tradition, I think I'll probably at least get a few into patronage before I get to the medieval era, and then I'll probably go exploration. Normally I go rationalism, but I think I won't worry about that too much, because even though science victories enable it, I think I'll be moving sufficiently fast doing what I normally do to be able to handle it. But I think after this turn ends that yeah, so basically this war is over in all but name, so I think that makes this a pretty good place to stop for now. So bye guys, and I'll see you next time with more modded Civ 5 Brave New World. Bye guys.